Okay, guys. We're still talking about what? Static, chapter 4. Again, in static, right? A static system of one particle, right? System of what? One particle. If it's in equilibrium, so the resultant force across a perpendicular directions should be what? Zero. Okay, girls. Look at the question 3, please. Again. Girls. There is an object, okay? A block of weight 10 newtons. Pay attention, please. 10 newtons is at rest on a rough horizontal surface. 10 Newton is at rest on a rough horizontal surface. A force of magnitude 3 newtons is applied to the block at an angle 60 above the horizontal. طلعوا angle 60. Force is 3 newtons. The angle is 60 above what? The horizontal. Any question about this? The coefficient of friction is a mu. Coefficient of friction is what? Is mu, which is 0.3. What we are asked to find? Friction. What we are asked to find? Friction. Pay attention, please. Pay attention. Now, first of all, I have to what? Draw what? The axis. Okay, fine. Since it's in equilibrium, we have to resolve this, right? We have to resolve this because this, again, lies between y and x. So this part is here 3 cosine 60, here 3 sine 60. Why? Again, the angle is given with what? With horizontal. So the horizontal component will be 3 cosine, with vertical will be what? 3 sine. Clear? In order to make the balance or to have an equilibrium, where is the direction of friction? Here. It's not given. Girls, it's an important point here. Pay attention. Noha. It's not mentioned in the question where is the direction of motion, because actually it's at rest, right? But what I have to do, I have to place the friction in certain direction to balance other forces. To balance what? Other forces. So I have to place the friction here to balance what? 3 cosine 60. To find friction, F net equal F net horizontal equals what? 0, right? What do we have along the horizontal here? 3 cosine 60 minus the friction equals what? 0. Right? 3 cosine 60 minus friction equals 0. So the friction equals 1.5 newtons. This is the first part, A. B, we are asked if it's limiting equilibrium or not. Yes, better. Yes, exactly. To be in limiting equilibrium, pay attention. Limiting what? Equilibrium. Again, this was discussed in the previous chapter. Limiting equilibrium means that the friction, yes, exactly, should equal what? F max. So to judge if it's limiting equilibrium or not, I have to find what? F max. If F max is equivalent to the friction, so it's in limiting equilibrium. If it's less, it's not in the limiting equilibrium. Okay. Calculate what? F max. This is the condition for limiting equilibrium. F max equals mu times R. So mu is coefficient of friction, which is given. What I have to find? R. R lies where? See the high side. We forget to add R, sorry, here. The normal is where? Upward. So how can we find R? F net along the vertical axis is 0. F net along the vertical axis is 0. R plus 3 sine 60 positive, 10 negative. R plus 3 sine 60 minus 10 equals 0. This would be 8.5, right? I think 8.5. R
7.7.
really?
Oh, 7.4.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. R equals? Yes.
20 minus 3 square root 3 over 2.
Newtons. This is what we will get in the calculator. Well, it's not a big deal, right? By using the calculator, we will get this. Okay, there is just a minute. Now find F max. Find what? F max. F max equal mu 0.3 times R, which is 20 minus 3 square root of 3 over 2. 2.22 newtons. So the friction
It's less than F max. So it's not limited.
less than what? F max, right? So it's not. It's in equilibrium actually. Guys, it is in equilibrium, right? But it's not limiting. It's not what? Limiting, right? It is in equilibrium, but it's not in the limiting equilibrium. Okay.
It's not moving.
What is the difference between equilibrium and limiting equilibrium?
Equilibrium is when both forces are equal.
Similar.
No, but like limiting equilibrium is the thing that prevents the object from moving.
Yes.
That's in normal equilibrium. It's either limiting equilibrium or F is less than F max. But in limiting equilibrium, the F max will be equal. But in any more friction, it's going to move. It's like a maximum.
Yes, you are very close. Yes.
Any extra force?
Yes, any small force or extremely force.
What to consider?
Yes, guys, pay attention, pay attention. Pay attention. Yes, I said yes. Pay attention here, pay attention. Look, this is applied force, right? If it's in limiting equilibrium, any small, extremely small change on the applied force, the object will move. Out, in other words, the object at point of moving. Listen, the object is at the point of moving. يعني خلينا نقول it's the end point of equilibrium. يعني beyond this point the object will move, or beyond this point the object is no longer in equilibrium. Fine? Clear? عشان كده اسمها limiting. Limiting يعني هي end, maximum, extreme of what? Of the equilibrium. لا, same thing. هلا both of them are at rest. In equilibrium or limiting equilibrium at rest. The only difference that the object now in the point of moving. فاهم شو قصدي شو? Do you know what I meant by point of moving?
And the point is
Yes, exactly. And it will
It's extreme.
يعني between start to move, right? Start to move. Clear? Okay? This is called what? Limiting equilibrium. Actually it's at rest. It's still at rest. بس احنا بنقول هلا انها point of moving يعني بدها تبدا تتحرك. Yes. The main point you know, friction equals what? F max. Right? The friction equals what? F max. Yes.
احنا زمان لما قبل اخذنا Ch.4 بنحلها انه F max دائما equals friction is at rest.
This is the first time that we did, we used the friction in equilibrium. You meant in chapter 3.
Yeah.
Chapter 3, it's moving. If it's moving, always the friction equals F max. If it's moving, always the friction equals what? F max. Clear? Right? We wrote these things before. Have you done copying the answers? Okay, fine. Okay, now. 1.5 high friction. Okay, guys, listen. Now do exercise 7. Yes, please. Now 7. Exercise 7.
Alternating notes.
Yes.
That's a way.
Look to question 7. Question 7. A particle of mass 1.5 right? Rests in equilibrium on a rough plane under the action of force of magnitude what? X newtons. Here we are given what? X newtons. The particle is up the plane. The plane is inclined 25. The particle is limiting equilibrium. Limiting equilibrium directly the friction equals what? F max. Because now it's mentioned that it's in the limiting equilibrium. The coefficient of friction is 0.25. Find the normal reaction, the value of x. Find the normal reaction. Right? We need what? Value of what? X. Pay attention. Now, again, it's inclined plane. It's what? Inclined plane. What we have here, right? Weight what?
1.5 g.
1.5 g. Normal force perpendicular to the inclined plane. That is jealous. Normal force perpendicular to what? To the plane. And there is a friction where? Oh, keep the friction. X in newtons, where should it be placed? This side. Again, we will shift the force only. So its tail lies on the object, not head. Okay, fine? Okay, Lynn? Okay. Now, we have friction, and then we will see where is the direction of friction. Is it mentioned in the point of moving up the plane or down the plane?
It's up the point and up the point of moving up.
Yes, in the point of moving
Up.
and the point of moving up. Actually, this context or this statement means what? Limiting what? Equilibrium. Right? Moving up, so directly the friction where?
Downwards.
Down. Or down the plane. The friction where? Is down where? The plane. This is the y-axis. This is what?
X-axis.
X-axis. This is y, this is x. What I have to resolve?
Weight.
1.5. Okay, 1.5. Direct. This angle is what?
35.
استاذ مش هاي
Down the plane, 1.5.
G.
Down the plane, 1.5 g sine 25. Okay? When this direction,
1.5.
1.5 g cosine 25. Clear? This is the only force that should be resolved. Again, F net, we need R. So R in this direction is 0. The resultant force, look, The resultant force along this direction is 0. What do we have? R minus 1.5 G cosine 25 equals 0. So R equals 1.5 G cosine 25 newtons. Clear? Okay, fine. What we have to find? We have to find a numerical value for this. We should not keep it like this, okay? Anyway, B, this is A. We need to find what? X. Totally similar to what we did previously, right? X in this direction, along this direction. So F net.
I need to find F first.
Sorry?
Need to find F.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. F net along this direction is what? 0, because it's at rest. What do we have here? Positive. X minus friction minus 1.5 G sine 25 equals 0. Clear? What is the friction? Friction equals what?
UBR.
UBR, right? Friction equals what? UR. Mu
0.25.
minus 0.25. This is a mu. R, high R. 1.5 G cosine what? 25. Fine? Minus 1.5 G sine 25 equals 0. We have only one variable now, Yaleen. Okay? We have only one variable, which is x. X equals
9.54.
9.54 newtons. Clear?
Yeah.
Any question? Zainab? Sure. Keep. شيكي معي شوي كيف نكلاين التاني. اوكي؟ اوكي هدي؟ Fine. طيب. Copy this quickly. Look. What is the question? There is an inclined plane, right, given a box of mass 3 kilograms lies on a rough inclined plane. Rough means what? We have friction, right? We have what? A friction which is inclined to 40 degree. Inclined by 40 degree. And this angle is what? 40. This is the object. It's kept at rest, or the box is held in equilibrium by means of horizontal force. By means of what? Horizontal force. This force is what? X, right? Okay. This force is X, newtons. The line of action of the force is the same as vertical plane as the line of grades to slope of the inclined plane. The coefficient of friction is given equals 0.3. Okay, and the box is in the limiting equilibrium, is about to move where? Upward. So there is a friction where down the plane. Please pay attention. There is a friction where downward. Find the normal reaction force. Find the normal reaction force. Okay, look here please. Here we have 10G, I think so. Weight is 10? 3, sorry. 3G. Weight is 3G. Normal is always perpendicular to what? To the surface. Normal is always perpendicular where? To the surface. Since it's a point of moving up, the friction where? Down the plane. Right? The friction is? Down the plane. This is what? Friction. What is the first step here?
Axis.
Before axis. Okay, axis. This is what? X-axis. Right? And this is what? Yes, yes, yes. Exactly.
Then
This is what? Y. I'm always using the color in order to figure out how we will resolve the forces. Okay? Fine? Any question? Then, look here, Diana. This force, it's step on the object. I have to shift it where? Here, the other side. So its tail now lies on the object. Look here, please. What is this angle? 40. Why? Z angles. Right? Z angles. Clear? So this force should be shifted where? Here. This force X. The angle with which axis? X. 40 مع X. فهاي should be kept with what? مع X axis. Clear? طيب. Any question about this? Now what I have to do, erase this.
That's cosine 40.
Look here, please. Friction again lies along the x-axis. Normal lies where? Along y-axis. This force and this force should be resolved because they don't lie where? Along x-axis or y-axis. This force and this force. Clear? Any question? Sure? So again, directly, without deep thinking, is this 40, this is 40. And always, down the plane, what do we have? 3g sine 40. Here, 3g cosine what? 40. 3g sine 40, 3g cosine 40. Any question? Sure? What I have to resolve also, x should be resolved in this way. Angle with x-axis. Again, girls, one of the common mistakes. We have to know which axis or the x-axis, this force will be resolved in which axis. X lies between this axis and this axis, right? So it should be resolved along this axis and this axis, not here. Okay, fine? So here we will have what? X cosine 40. You know why? Then an angle given with what? X-axis. So here
X sine. No.
X sine 40. Right? Okay, fine, girls. Any question? Okay, fine. I think you have to practice how to resolve forces, how to deal with forces along what? Along the inclined plane. You have to do many practices along this. Next, I have to use the condition of equilibrium, F net. Now we need to find what? R. R along which axis?
Y.
No, how? Mira. But that's 3 man. Girls, we need R. R lies along where?
Y-axis.
Y-axis. Right. Equals 0. Clear? All this we will start from where? From what the question asks us to find. طيب ايش عندنا هون؟ R صح حديد minus نحن واحد 3g cosine 40 right? R minus 3g cosine 40 minus x sine what? 0. Can I find R? I have to find x, right? In order to find R, I have to find x.
So I is equal to 3 cosine.
I have to use another equation, just a minute. I have to use what? Another equation that should be done with this one simultaneously to find x and what? R. X and R. Again, we have to find another equation that should be done simultaneously with this equation to find R and X. Clear? From where?
X-axis.
From X-axis. Let's say this is equation number 1. Okay? No matter. No matter. Now the other equation from this axis. The other equation from where? This axis. F net equals 0. What do we have here?
X cosine
x cosine 40 minus what? Friction, صح? What is friction? What is friction? mu r. Right? It's limiting equilibrium. Instead of the friction طلعوا شو راح احط هلا؟ او خلوها friction. نعمل next another step. Friction minus what? 3g sine 40 equals what? 0. I will rearrange this equation. X cosine 40 minus friction mu times r, right? Mu times r. What is mu? 0.3. Pay attention. طلع شو حط r هاي. ايش r هون؟ equals 3g صح؟ cosine 40 plus x sine 40. Clear? I will substitute r here. Actually, main point or difficulty in know how to arrange the equations. R equals mu في r, friction mu في r, pi r, leave 3g cosine 40 plus x sine 40. هذا شو هو هذا كلياته؟ هذا ايش هو؟ friction صح؟ كله هذا هو الفريكشن. لسه ستيل احنا شو عندنا؟ minus 3g sine what? 40 equals ايش؟ 0. Look to this equation. What is the only variable here? X. Right? The only variable is x. طيب شو راح اعمل؟ x راح اعملها in details. Cosine 40 minus 0.3 صح؟ times what? Sine 40 times x. Clear? Any question about this? Equal. All other terms will be moved to the other side. شو عندنا other term? 0.3 times 3g cosine 40 plus this term on there is no x, 3g sine 40. You got the point? Clear? I arranged the equation, this equation, to have x in one side, the other terms were in the other side. Now it's a matter of algebra. Okay? Take x as common factor. شو بصير عندنا هون؟ Okay, fine. Equals what? This term. Divide, right? Divide by this term, we will get the answer.
44.7.
How?
44.7.
X equals, I don't know, 44.7
Yeah, 44.7.
newtons. This is not the answer because we are asked about what?
R.
R. We have to resubstitute x in R to have in this equation to have the value of what? Of R.
51.3.
Before x.
Ups, I will not be able to find.
Can I put x sine?
You see it, yes. قصدك تخلي كل الايكويشن in terms of R وطلع R. مظبوط بس هو شوية هون بس مشكلة الزلاقة بالالجبرا بس. Okay? Girls, the difficulty here in algebra, not